David, did you happen to bring the
Oh, yes, I did.
USB sticks? I went to hit the record and realized it was blue.
I was curious about that. I was like, I remember green, and I remember red. What is blue?
There's no disc in there.
Aha.
Well.
I know I did something right. Excellent connection. So you think darkness is your ally?
I need to
Remember,
actually
the mics
get
are
two of
hot.
these.
Duh.
Okay, and we're live. Just
See, people only get to listen to this stuff if they're sub to us and they like watch us. But like, this isn't the stuff that goes on the
Well, we do have one watching right now.
you.
You don't have to call them names.
You are?
Don't bust them out like that. Gosh.
I'm subscribed.
He's trying to get comfortable in his oversized shirt.
Now everybody's gonna look at that, especially the people watching right now. If it's
I don't know why I turned my Bluetooth off. I don't need that. All right, recording in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome everybody to Strike Team Gaming presents Level 4 XP, and welcome to another fantabulous episode of Gaming News. We're gonna have a couple of announcements towards the end of this episode, so please stick around so you can hear and figure out what those announcements are gonna be. But without further ado, let me introduce who I'm here with.
Irishguy, aka Mike.
This is Doc.
and Zmainia.
Welcome everybody to the show, and thank you for joining us if you're currently watching us on Spotify. YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify, Anchor, or any other podcast service, also welcome. We're going to go ahead and get into our gaming news. You're going to notice something, but I'm not going to give it away just yet about it. First announcement we have here is now we are live from our new studio in this guy's house. The extra bedroom in his house. So we are now going to be streaming live from this room. It's a little more comfortable. You know, a little more
Chairs
privacy.
are definitely a lot more comfortable.
Give or take.
Well, I meant to send a message saying, "Hey, bring a chair," but
It's okay.
next week bring a chair.
Yeah.
I think I got this one from Costco for like $100. So it has a mesh cushion, but it has like a foam seat.
I'll have to sit in that and check it out.
Yeah.
So as previously mentioned, we are live from our new studio per se. The lighting and everything else is going to be adjusted as time progresses, so bear with us. Also, we are going to be working on other stuff for the YouTube channel and anytime we go live, so please keep track of all the link trees and all the information and the servers and everything down in the episode description to stay connected with us. Without further ado, you guys ready to get going?
Yeah, buddy.
Let's go.
Indeed.
Oops, wrong one.
Can I have a whiteboard, please?
So
Yes, you may.
Oh,
this is going to be your gaming news, everybody who's joining us for September 5th, 2021. This is everything that I've gathered throughout the week, and we'll just kind of, go from there. What?
Why aren't you using my image?
Isn't that your image?
No.
Wow.
I did an image for gaming news for this week.
Did you?
Yes.
You didn't send a message in the Discord to let us know.
No, I did. I let it all. It's all uploaded.
Why can't you just
Oh,
go
well.
onto his drive? and
Appreciate
upload this?
me.
Story for another time. Anyway, so gaming news as of September 5th. I'm going to do it a little differently this week. I'm just going to ask you guys the question, is this smart or is it dumb after this story?
Okay.
So, Doc, this first one's more for you. You guys can pay attention. I know it's not gaming news. I thought it was pretty funny because with everything happening in the world and with the way the pandemic has been, running rampant, this is just kind of like an icing on a cake.
Mm-hmm.
So, show of hands or, fingers or whatever. How many people believe in Bigfoot? Okay. So,
That's 2, by the way.
what?
For the people listening,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
they can't hear, hand
Why can't you
raised.
guys
Oh.
just count how many hands went up? Like, you could, yeah. Like,
just to reference, that is Doc and Irish who believe in Bigfoot.
News at 11. So from Bro Bible, it's a Facebook page / website that I pay attention to. I like their sources. I like where they get a lot of their content, and they're pretty much not like hearsay. There's a lot of like Fox News and stuff like that, and CNN and all these other news sites. They've become very like opinionated. So I like Bro Bible because a lot of their stuff is reputable sources.
Yeah, let's not get started on the big companies.
So, an article that they recently shared says an expert says that the new Bigfoot sighting caught on video in Idaho is unlikely to be a hoax.
haven't they said that about just about? Well, there's usually said about a lot of them. I know this is bro, but I don't know.
So, I'm skipping over a lot of the information here, but there was a video captured. It showed an individual, big body, big butt, big head, thick legs, large arms.
I was in
thick?
Idaho last week.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's at least 2 C's.
So, it does illustrate, what we would typically think of, Bigfoot. If it was a human in a costume, its wardrobe assistant managed to find one that is a pretty snug fit. Because you don't see a lot of Bigfoot impersonators in costumes that are that realistic. Unexplainedmysteries.com writes, very little is actually known about the video or where it came from, and there doesn't seem to be an explanation for why the person who recorded it stopped filming after such a short period of time. So obviously at that, a little leery about a Bigfoot sighting, right? Because in this day and age, people are literally recording everything in entirety. But it happened to, it was a new Idaho Bigfoot sighting, a video on YouTube, which claims the largest database of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, blah, 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 sightings and photos. The YouTube channel is called NVTV. Despite the impressive quality of the video, this latest sighting has, for some reason, yet to be officially registered in the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, BFRO website. But it lists the most recent recording of the Bigfoot sighting to take place on Friday, August 27th in Kitsap County, Washington. So right around that whole little area where the whole Twilight series kind of took place, skipping. But that's essentially a photo of what was the video. What I just took a screenshot from the video because I didn't know how to do, a video record. Yeah, whatever. But that's pretty much what they saw. And it walks very Homo sapien-like, up on 2 legs, upright, back back straight. So
it looks like a dude that lifts weights. You know what it could be? It could be like somebody that's those kids that have I don't know if they're still alive or but that thing where they just have the human werewolves.
Yeah.
Could be somebody that has that.
Who also pumps the iron. I mean, look at that calf right there.
Yeah.
For those of you that can't see, it's very well defined, even through the fur, if you will.
So, thoughts?
It's pretty interesting to see how, I'm actually watching the video right now. It's interesting to see how the posture of the body is. It kind of looks similar to the initial sighting that kind of like took us by storm several years ago, or not several years ago. The first like video evidence that we have of a so-called Bigfoot. It looks similar to that. The fur is a little bit darker, almost to, I would say, more of along the lines of an ape. of a gorilla.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where it's kind of making me wonder if it's actually real, and especially just looking at the camera. I would have to see the video in full to kind of really take my speculations, but I still believe that there are some out there because there's species of creatures that we still find to this day.
Yeah. So since you have it up, how long is the video?
So the one I have right now, it shows that it's 10 minutes and 30 seconds. So, but it looks like they've kind of redid a bunch of stuff and slowed it down just so you can kind of see.
So they can.
see.
I'm sure there's audio along with it. that you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
and I
on.
can't hear it right now. So, yeah, it'd just be interesting to kind of see, because especially with as much as we have nowadays with cosplay, I wouldn't put it past them for this being a suit, especially a latex bodysuit.
I can see that.
With latex expanding foam. So
See, my issue with this and the Bigfoot in general, being a primarily bipedal, so on 2 feet, spine more or less like ours, is technically we're kind of like mid-evolution right now in terms of our spines, because the way we're set up actually really isn't that good for bipedal movement. Our spine is not really well designed for it, so we're kind of like in that half step. So to happen to run into another creature that just happens to hit all the check marks except for hair and seemingly communication skills, like it seems a bit too like perfectly lined up or coincidental, especially seeing as how it seems that there seems to be little to perhaps only one of this particular creature.
well, that's also the thing is with this, where I watch a lot of the videos about what is it? It's called it's where everything, even though they're two different species, they evolve pretty much the same features and everything. I can't remember. I just watched a video on this the other day too. But it's kind of the it's, I want to say it's like co-evolution or something like that.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I mean, that it does happen, of course,
Yeah.
but it just seems too coincidental that they just happened to like they didn't get all of our habits or traits, just like what you would expect a guy in a latex suit to look like, with hair on it, and then just running away from badly shot camera angles.
Well, and that's the thing is, with as much as we have, like we still do, like dwindling down are the apes, the great apes, and that was because we did hunt them down during that period. But are you telling me in the United States that has been pretty much surveilled a lot more than the rainforest, that you can't find, this species?
Well,
And
to
that,
this day, we're still finding new species, albeit rarely in America, I believe.
yeah.
But to find a species that big, that's been photographed and filmed for how many years is this now?
Yeah, I think it was
a lot. That's
1930, I think, was the first footage.
and we still haven't been able to get a single decent-
Definite answer and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers on me, but I feel like I could be safe in saying statistically that's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Highly
So-
impossible.
Just based on this, yes or no, do you think this is a legitimate sighting?
I think Thick Boy Bodybuilder found a really nice latex suit or whatever with the fur on it.
Yeah, with this, I just kind of seeing some of the video and stuff, I kind of think that it might be a hoax. It's always a problem when you have only one person filming versus like having a couple people filming, because that is also the other thing is like we're all in technology now. We all have an iPhone. We all have this, and you're seeing, even now today, you see so many videos of like UFOs or other strange things happening, and it's filmed on a phone camera, versus, you know, some other stuff. And for me, man, if I knew this was real, I'd probably die, because I'd probably be tracking it.
Get my tripod. I'm gonna get a perfect shot of
Oh
this.
no, honestly, that's what I would be doing with nowadays.
Right, especially because like some of the worst camera phones that are at least about 3 or 4 years old, still at least about 12 megapixel.
Yeah, they're still pretty good to
Yeah.
get a decent resolution, and it's not like you're streaming it; you're
Yeah,
recording it.
right.
So
You don't even have to do 4K. You could do 2K or 1080p at 60 frames on a lot of them.
Yeah.
But I digress.
So, Mike, did you want to answer real quick, or just?
No, I was just trying to find the original video.
Oh, I thought you were looking for the receipt for your thick boy suit.
But I couldn't find the original one. The one that I did find is about 10 minutes long. It might have been. I don't.
yeah, that's the one.
But
NVTV.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
was just like they'd play a
Slow.
couple frames and then they'd take it back and play the same few frames over. And I'm like, let me see the whole thing first, and then you can do that, because I just want to see the whole thing.
Right.
We don't
But-
do that here.
Yeah.
It wasn't super. At least what I found so far hasn't been super clear.
Yeah.
But that's
It-
2 minutes
it's-
of looking.
It literally still looks like it's filmed on, you know, a camera from the early 2000s. And if
It could-
this
what it-
just happened,
What it could be also is just really zoomed in, so it's really not the great quality.
true.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure with an iPhone, that should be in better quality.
Well, some people don't have iPhones.
I know.
And I'm thankful for it.
Yep.
And
We have-
Master Race.
Yep.
So we have now transcended into smart move or dumb move, as far as gaming news is concerned. So I'm going to introduce to you one of 5 articles, and you just tell me at the end, is this a smart move for whoever's doing it or a dumb move? So does everybody have a fond memory of the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy Advanced?
Yes.
Indeed, I do.
Yes.
Like I said, I used to have 4.
So Game
didn't
Boy
have
and
the
Game
third
Boy
one.
Color games are reportedly coming to Nintendo Switch very soon. Article from Game Informer says that this is happening, and in a recent report from the good folks over at Eurogamer, an inside source has confirmed that this site and this era of gaming is finally making it onto the Nintendo Switch library. The Nintendo Switch Online service is another subscription option for gaming, and it opens up the Switch experience to even more games to enjoy, heralding from times from past for players to reminisce over. With 100 games already in Nintendo Switch's online library consisting of NES and SNES favorites through the years, the addition of Game Boy title just makes the service so much sweeter, especially for gamers of older generations like myself. No word yet of an official confirmation from Nintendo, but it's not as far-fetched to believe as a possible reveal could be on the horizon soon. So this is, mind you, we have yet to have. PlayStation is doing a debut in a conference coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Nintendo is doing a conference, I think, next week. You know, there's a lot of video game companies right now that are getting ready to do conferences. So if Nintendo announces Game Boy and Game Boy Color games coming to the Nintendo Switch, is this a smart move or a dumb move on their part, and why?
Honestly, I would love to see some of the older games. I actually thought this was going to replace the Nintendo, or their Game Boy and everything, just because it's already a handheld device, just with more features on it and more power. Why put more resources in something that you don't need to have anymore?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. One, they'll get our generation that's gonna be get the games for nostalgia, and then it'll also get them a lot more money, long run. And then, like Doc pointed out, it is a handheld device. Question is it gonna be the same 8 or 16-bit that they were? Or are they going to be...
Hopefully it'll be like
Updated.
a 18-bit with a kind of a semi-emulator,
Yeah.
Maybe. They're definitely not going to change the aspect ratio, but
Yeah.
so letterboxing is definitely going to be a thing. But I don't know. I think they're probably just gonna run it through whatever visual enhancements they already have built in, especially with this newest Switch. I wouldn't be surprised if they advertised it. It looks better on this one because we have the I forgot what it's called, but the upscaling basically.
Yeah. I know it's one of my friends. He his daughter has a Switch, and so he's been looking at getting the newer Switch and stuff. I'm just like, no, and it, really all it is just updated graphics, probably a little bit better processor.
I think the battery is supposed to be better as well.
Yeah, because
largely, if you're playing the games that hit the battery hard, the performance overwise probably is going to be significantly better.
Yeah.
Than the second one, because this will be the third variant that they're releasing, not including special editions.
Yeah, I just want to play Pokemon Red on it. So
right.
Yeah,
That was going to be my next question. If you happen to get a Switch, if you this happens to be a thing, what's the first game that you're playing?
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Settles that. So I brought this up because I brought this up because I thought it would be kind of interesting, because I was thrown when we were doing the comic book superheroes and stuff to find out that Judge Dredd was based on a comic.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. You educated me on that, and I feel better about it. And it just so happened. I like to everything we do, something happens, and it's so coincidental because it seems to be direct response to us. And I'm gonna lay claim to that. Everybody does stuff that's a direct response to us.
It does feel like that at
Divine
times.
intervention.
Yeah.
So, what I found this, and before I tell you what it goes to, I just wanted to ask you guys, if Judge Dredd made an appearance in any video game in today's market, where would he belong the best?
Any video game?
Any video game.
Grand Theft Auto. He just come in. I am the law.
The only thing I could think of really what would fit him would probably be Fortnite. I can't really see him in a fighting game because he really doesn't there's been some comics where he's gone hand to hand, but he's not like a mixed martial artist or, he's just a straight, I'm just going to beat your face in.
I'm going to say Capcom. Just because when you said that, I thought they have so many characters in fighting games that don't know how to fight, so they just shoot. Arnold Schwarzenegger coming in on
Mortal
Kombat 11 SDLC. Yeah,
that's right.
So they're accustomed to doing that. So I'm going to say either Mortal Kombat or Capcom. So I'm going to go directly opposite of you.
Yeah.
You're all wrong.
Call of Duty.
Judge Dredd is coming to Call of Duty.
Oh, I was going to say Call of Duty until you said that. I'm not
I
just
knew it was
saying
something. I knew it was something shooting. That's why I said Fortnite, just because Fortnite pretty much has every license now.
I really didn't think it'd be Call of Duty,
I've
though.
been keeping up on Fortnite news, and I hadn't heard that.
Well, you should have said something. Stop making me look like a
Yeah,
fool.
yeah, Mike definitely would have known before David.
So, before I read the article, and even I have grown fatigued from it, not because I'm tired of hearing about it or anything, because that's not the case. It's just more so there's other stories I have to highlight. But it is hard to mention certain video games without also reminding people of what's in this article. So it is important to keep in mind what is going on with Activision Blizzard regarding ongoing allegations about the work culture. And every article that we find that I bring up about Activision Blizzard, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, the list goes on, it has this piece in it.
Yeah.
Highlighting what's going on. That being said, I'm going to highlight the story, but I like to think that all of us agree while the story is ongoing and tragic, we're not going to focus any attention unless there's a resolution.
Pretty much. It's pretty much the
Or unless
same
there's
stuff.
some kind of new major news in
Right.
relation to it.
So Call of Duty 5 continues to roll along with some substantial additional content updates and announcements, the most landing next week, September 9th. And the biggest thing is the new operator skin of becoming Judge Dredd and dispensing some justice on the enemy. He is joining the revered ranks of the Saw Puppet, Rambo, John McClane, and Judge Dredd is on the way as a skin for an operator. So yeah, not one, but 2 Judge Dredd skin variants to dive into Season 5 Reloaded.
I'm going to say this right now. If they try to release a thing with his helmet off, I will flip
Man, do I have some bad news for you?
because
Something for you to dread.
no, legit. Judge Dredd. I'm trying to skip over that. Judge Dredd has never revealed his head
Until now.
until
Maybe.
Sylvester Stallone. Stallone's the
that's right.
only one that his version of Judge Dredd, not in the comic books, not in the remake movie, which is better. Never.
So who did they have voice act this one?
Yeah.
I'm going to find out here in a second, but it says popular
Stallone.
Call of Duty character Hudson is also back with an operator. There looks like they're going to have the zoo map return complete with animal exhibits, park space in the monorail. They have Zoo 24/7 going on. Demolition mode rolls out as well. Haha, that's clever. Judge Dredd, Demolition. Zombies Outbreak gets another region to explore with Armada. It's located on a boat. And then Warzone is now 50v50 combat again if you want to dive into Clash. It's pretty much like Fortnite's Team Royale thing.
Well, they have supposedly Fortnite was planning a 50v50 LTM tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how it was going to work. It was supposed to start the beginning of this month, and we're almost a week in, so I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, I see it. So there you go.
Can I just got to say, the entire time you were reading all that, I kept thinking of different voice lines for Sylvester.
Yeah, I know.
Adrian. Job.
That's Arnold.
I know.
So this is
I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because they were great competitors.
you're not for those of us watching on YouTube.
Hold on. So that's the one thing where he's like, "No, I am the law." His voice is just.
I think it'd be great if he did lines from Arnold's different movies because, as I said a second ago, they were really, really competing against each other. In fact, what was the name of the movie that Sylvester
Last
did?
Action Hero.
Yeah, that was
Or
so
no.
bad. The one that he got tricked into doing.
Oh no, that was oh gosh, I can't remember. There was I can't remember the movie he got tricked into doing, but there was a movie. So they made fun of in Last Action Hero, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. So they actually had Sylvester Stallone as the Terminator on a poster in Last Action. So
Yeah.
I
I think it'd be great if he actually did the voice lines like in there. It would just be like so
Yeah.
full circle on that.
So this is pretty much the Battle Pass stuff that you're getting for the Season 5 Reloaded of Cold War Warzone. I can't say with certainty, but I think that operator you're currently seeing on the screen is Hudson, the operator that they mentioned. He's a popular character from Call of Duty Black Ops. He's the one that was speaking to you while you were tied down. The numbers, Mason, what do they mean?
Yeah, he was the handler, and yeah, that definitely does look like him.
And then, of course, the Judge Dredd skin, and there's a couple of other things. I can't really see them because like the image was all fuzzy. But if you guys can check it out. I'll have the link posted in the Discord, and of course, you'll be able to see this.
New melee weapon are the what are they called? Size?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one I have. Okay, so wait. Before I go too further, is this smart or is this dumb? Good news, bad news for the company.
Well, depends on how they do it, I guess. If they do choose Sylvester, then I think it's both because, like, on one hand, you got all that pull from him, especially because he was just voice acting in the Suicide Squad. That is the Suicide Squad, not to be confused with Suicide Squad. That, and it's bad because, like, when he comes on screen and starts talking, what? He doesn't like. Not gonna make any sense.
So I just noticed, what's dude's name again?
Hudson.
Yeah.
So I just realized under seasonal events, it says the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to do something with the numbers. Maybe we'll find out what they mean.
I saw an article earlier today. I wish I would have grabbed it, but something's going on with the Rebirth Island, in Warzone right now.
I don't play it, so I don't care.
I forgot it's not Fortnite.
No, I've
Just
actually been
Fortnite-ish.
playing a lot of Splitgate lately.
Have you been able to get in on tournaments?
Tournament, I'm not ranked. I haven't played enough to get to the ranked side yet.
My son told me that he's like, yeah, it's an awesome game if you can ever get into matches. So
Yeah, as far as doing the unranked stuff, I haven't had any issues. I've had times where it says we are waiting for server space to free up, but I haven't had to wait more than a minute.
Oh, that's nice.
But I'm also playing during the day, and I'd imagine your son's probably playing later in the day.
Probably, yeah.
All right. Next up, I have The Elder Scrolls 6 is reportedly, quote, planned as an Xbox exclusive. PS5 players might not be returning to Tamriel.
Oh my.
On Twitter, GamesBeat reporter Jeff Grubb refuted the suggestion that in a recent interview, Bethesda's Pete Hines has hinted that Starfield could be coming to PS5. Since then, Xbox's Aaron Greenberg has made it clear that Starfield PS5 is not happening, and the game will launch on Xbox platforms. Grubb seemed to have heard that too, and thinks that Elder Scrolls 6 is planned as an Xbox exclusive as well. Pretty much the next paragraph details the game, what we know about Elder Scrolls 6, whether it's coming to PC or not. And then I have the tweet here. On the right, it's the original tweet from the Red Dragon. Pretty much says the Xbox brands that exist in other platforms first and foremost. I think it's important to note Minecraft didn't just stop existing on anything once Mahjong got bought by Xbox. It's a massively played games on all these other platforms. It's not just sorry, you're never going to get to play anything by Bethesda again. Hines mentioned how Starfield was announced as an Xbox exclusive, but he also suggested that the door might not be entirely shut on Bethesda games coming to PlayStation in some capacity. Starfield, it was announced as an Xbox exclusive. I don't know if I would go so far to say that anything you're whatever. Anyway, Jeff Grubb pretty much says no, and also Elder Scrolls 6 is planned as an Xbox exclusive as well. So is this smart or is this dumb?
I think it's probably kind of dumb because Elder Scrolls does have a huge following. Not knowing the statistics side of it, as far as, if it's like 90% people playing on Xbox versus then 5% PlayStation and 5% PC or whatever the rate, then it might make sense. But to me, cutting out, especially on a game that's been multi-platform for a good chunk of its existence, if not all of it, and then cutting that down to one system, I think that's a stupid move.
Oh, you can go.
I was gonna say honestly, I don't want to hear anything until they actually get more systems out. So
Yeah. Though for this specifically, I don't know. I'm not saying I think it's a good idea or positive, a nice idea, but business wise, I think it would be a good idea if they did make it a exclusive to PC/Xbox.
True.
Because they'd pull all of that business away from PlayStation, first of all. Second of all, if people really want it, they're going to either have to play it on PC or they're going to have to buy an Xbox. And while people won't like that, I mean, the people already on Xbox or PC, it's not going to negatively affect them directly. So whether or not they support it, like I'm saying, I don't think it's a nice thing to do. It's not really something that's going to get them up in arms for something that doesn't actually affect them. So I think that if they do run this particular play, it would help their business. People might not look at them in the kindest of lights, but I think they'd get over it relatively quickly because it is also on PC. And if you own a console, you probably own a computer, and as long as your computer's not too old, it should spec out for low res play.
I think also with that is that I think was the Elder Scrolls or Morrowind or something was
Morrowind.
originally on Xbox.
It might do a.
Morrowind was, yeah.
Yeah, Warwind was. I knew one of them.
Is it Xbox only still, or is it just Xbox exclusive for
The
a couple months and then they bring it to everything?
I think Morrowind was on the original Xbox
Xbox, yeah.
exclusively.
because I think Xbox was also the only one that could support the
Right.
data that came along with it. Because I think PlayStation 2 just wasn't released yet at that time when Xbox One first came out.
Because so did they remake Morrowind? Because there was another one that I thought just came. Well,
So they're porting
No, it
Elder
wasn't on
Scrolls
it.
Skyrim again.
Morrowind was definitely not on PlayStation.
So-
I can't find anything about
So
it
they're
right now.
they're porting Elder Scrolls Skyrim again. They're releasing it as a 10th anniversary to next gen consoles.
yeah.
Then Elder Scrolls Online had a Morrowind expansion.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking then.
Yeah. So I think they're just kind of going back to the roots because especially if they're going to go with this is one of the guys I was talking with about kind of like the consoles and stuff was that the reason why Xbox was so largely ahead of a lot of things was one because of their community. They have the server space. They've always like when you want to play a multiplayer online game, you play Xbox.
Yeah.
PlayStation just does not have the server space or the server capacity to run these games.
Nope.
And you do get like a few here and there, but for the most part, if you want any of that experience, you play Xbox.
Yeah.
And especially now since we're doing a lot more crossplay, I think it's just easier for them because they're pretty much almost the same servers. And so it's less porting and all that stuff they have to deal with when it comes to like PlayStation and Xbox and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the few redheaded stepchilds I like to beat into the ground.
F4, just F4, all F4.
Yeah, honestly, honestly, I'm doing it to myself because I still play the damn game, but it's whatever. So, the next article I have is designated towards not necessarily Overwatch 2, but more so Overwatch League. So Zach probably more so, you probably a little less, but you probably not at all. But hang on. Overwatch is known for its 6-man versus 6-man fighting. Reason being is because the setup pretty much for fighting is 2-2-2. 2 DPS, 2 damage, 2 heal, 2 tank.
Especially now.
Yeah. So, I don't know if anybody caught up with it, but Overwatch 2 has boasted that they're actually doing away with 1 tank. They had announced this sometime way back, and this put all of Overwatch League in a tizzy.
Yeah.
I think
Because
that was our
destroys the
first-
meta.
One of our first gaming news episodes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So that all the Overwatch League pros are like, you just half of us are now out of a job. So thanks, bud. And not much really came of that. Now all of a sudden, with Overwatch 2 coming out almost really soon, Overwatch League's 2022 season will use an early build of Overwatch 2. Now this again, is this smart or is this dumb?
Stupido.
Jack Spector, the league's vice president, says, I've seen a lot of speculation regarding a 2022 start date for OWL, Overwatch League. We can confirm that our plan is to begin next season in April 2022. We will share more details about the roster construction timeline soon and more info generally on our 2022 season as we get closer to April. After rumors of a year-long hiatus for the league began to ramp up, Blizzard recently confirmed them to be false. The company said that while a release date for the 2022 season start had not yet been announced, a 5th season of Overwatch League would be happening nonetheless. As you can see from the tweet above, Spectre reaffirmed this news earlier today. However, a league spokesperson told .news that this season would begin on an early build of Overwatch 2, plus a direct quote from the publication for the league spokesperson. So, and then it just pretty much goes on to talk about what I just spoke about. So, pretty much, what's happening here is we're still threatening and I don't know how sympathetic I want to be, but I will be, the livelihood of half of your tank roster, because you're doing 2-2-1, 2 damage, 2 healer, 1 tank. And there's a lot of metas and a lot of stuff that you can play around with. So until Overwatch 2 either confirms it's 5v5 or reverts back to 6v6, is this smart or is this dumb?
I think it's pretty stupid, especially implementing the new or what should be for O2 in League. They could have easily done an arcade style one where people can get a feel and see if they like it, and then get feedback from the community as to whether or not they should go with this direction, like they've done largely the entire Overwatch 1. So it just seems not even silly. It's just like stupid. It's just not smart, not an intelligent choice from everything that I could see. Stupid. Stamp.
So in one I'm kind of half and half on this. Like I think it's smart because then they can figure out if they're going to be if they're using the early release of O2, they can figure out how they're going to do their rosters and everything. If they'll know ahead of time if it's truly 5v5 or if it's going to stay 6v6. But a lot of the competitors that play, a lot of the pros, some of them only play tank.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a side gig role, if you will.
An alt.
They don't have an alt role. So they're either going to have to be the tank, and whoever else the other tank is going to have to go to their alt role, and basically be reserve, or they're kind of SOL.
Yeah.
For me, I've never really played Overwatch, so I know most squad battles have always been, from the games I've played, it's normally always been 5. You know, we get occasional matchmaking where you have like more than that, but for the most part, majority of my games, they're 5. So for me, it's, you know, it's always been a tank, couple DPS, even like when we're running through WoW, you know, through raids, that's pretty much what it is. 1 tank, 2 to 3 DPS, 1 healer, or 2 healers with that can switch between healing and DPS. So if they do something like that to where you offset some of the characters get a little bit of an overhaul to where they can kind of sub tank and still dish out damage, I think it would be good. I can see where people are getting upset because you've launched the game having 6 players and you're used to it. Now you're axing one of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's not just messing with the meta like they've done a million times. It's completely changing the core concept of 6v6.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I don't remember what this article started off as. So
It says it's Mer. Right there. Mer.
No, I know who that's who it's from. I don't know.
Hey, come here.
Come Mer.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, Cyberpunk
2077.
Yeah.
Specifically the community monitors.
So Cyberpunk has hired a community modder. I don't remember the role that it was, but pretty much what I remember from taking away from this is that the game is still broken, and they still got a long ways to patch it. And I think they hired a modder to help kind of speed up that process. Let me see here. We'll be working with a post from Yigsoft's banner. The chosen modder are slated to work on multiple aspects of Cyberpunk 2077's backend. And it pretty much says, we will be working on various projects related to Cyberpunk and the game's modding support. Really excited for this, and we will really be hoping we can help bring 2077 to the next level. What these community members turn full-fledged developers will be working on remains to be seen. So, you can't fix your game with who you have. So I'm going to go out and hire the people who are fixing your game. Is this smart or is this dumb?
I think it's smart and dumb for them, because if these people can't fix it, then what the hell are you paying them for?
Mm-hmm.
But then also, I still think, like what we've talked before, the game was just kind of rushed. They're trying to get it out there without really play testing, and that's the problem with a lot of games nowadays, is that there are so many bugs that they just don't have proper play testing, where smaller companies, you know, they only have a few people, or say, hey, you know, we got this game coming out, do you want to be part of the beta test and alpha test, versus, you know, take Blizzard, you know, their play tests, they have people all around the world play testing, you know, up 10 to 20,000 people to test play. So the bugs and everything that they're able to find, you know, you have a lot more feedback versus some of these older games. And honestly, if because there are actually a lot better modders out there than actually that are in companies, you know. And when I play Minecraft, I play modded Minecraft just because of some of the mods that are out there. They're so fun. They bring a different feel to the game versus, you know, their initial game that it is. And I think Bedrock's trying to get there, of where they're trying to add new features to it, and it's not just the same old. I'm hoping that, you know, with the new outlay for Minecraft, it's, you know, they actually add some type of energy or electricity or something like that, especially since they had introduced copper as a default. So that's typically leading into, oh, are we going to start getting powered machines now? You know?
Batteries.
But one of the first mods for Minecraft was an actually energy mod. And so, you know, look at how long the game's been out, and you're just now starting to add like really decent new stuff into it. So just it's more to them. Like if you can get modders out there that can fix it to get your game going, keep them on fucking board.
Right.
It definitely seems like a, you know, if you do good, cool, you still have a job. But, you know, if you don't, then we're not losing a whole lot.
Yeah, I think overall this is a good move for them. I mean, obviously they weren't really doing very well on their own. So pulling, it's like when you are having an issue and you can't fix it at home, what do? Do you just like pull out a wrench and start beating the problem until it breaks or somehow fixes itself, which it almost never does nowadays? No, you call a plumber, you call an electrician, and they come in and fix it. And so they had quite the laundry list of issues, and they called in the people who could fix it. It was a very smart idea, along with keeping feedback coming in from the community. Being able to get that information and actually taking it seriously instead of taking forever to maybe get around to it is definitely a positive. I have hope for that.
Yeah, I think with them taking the initiative to actually get modders in on this, I think that's really them trying to show, hey, look, we're serious about trying to keep. We know we fell flat. You know, we fell on our faces, and we're just hoping. You know, we're just trying to give you guys a product. Yeah. And we're trying to fix it as best we can and as fast as we can.
Yeah, I felt pretty bad for them when everything was going bad. Like I think I pre-ordered it, and back when they actually got to the point where even Xbox was saying, look, we'll give you a refund if you want it. I was thinking about it, but I decided not to because I still wanted to support them because I felt like the game had all the elements to be worth that price. It was just rushed, and they really need the help.
Yeah.
Financially and community support-wise, which I could at least financially support them with that little bit. So yeah, I decided to just keep the game.
Well, it's like one of the games. There was one of the games I remember that didn't do so well, and I still bought it. I actually bought it on all systems. Just, it helps them out and stuff, and, and sometimes, yeah, it may fall flat, like, with that. But if you really like the game, you're going to play the game, so.
Right. Like, that's kind of how I felt about the game called Outward when it first came out.
Yeah.
Like, it was so bad that if you played co-op, because it was only co-op or single, and you went back to your world, you could potentially lose all of your inventory. So you'd lose everything that you collected, which is like 80 to 90% of the game, not including magic, is the items you collect.
Yeah, I know there was another game that was like that. There was a big glitch that when you died, you like lost everything, and it was like for hours worth of stuff. You lost it all, and
Dark Souls, yeah, no, I know. Because you'd always end up dying twice.
anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, a couple of other announcements.
I got some gaming.
Sorry, I
news.
forgot about that.
This is one of the announcements.
Because, when you start this before we recorded, you said, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if you had them or not. So anyway, kind of as far as streamers go, big news. Bad news for Twitch. Both Dr. Lupo and Tim the Tatman have both left. And they have moved over to YouTube. And then,
Oh, crap! There goes our views.
Man, we were there too. They're gonna get.
and then Nick Merckx is rumored. He said, and he signed the biggest deal of his life. Hasn't made any announcements yet, but he might be coming to YouTube also.
It'd be interesting to see, because I know, didn't Harris Heller put something out? I didn't see his one about like is Twitch in trouble or something like that.
Yeah,
this last week.
That was in response to, I think, when Lupo left.
Well, I mean, Twitch definitely hit some rough water on this, but I don't think this will be enough to like do any real damage to them. I mean, I don't remember when, but if I'm not mistaken, Amazon, aka Jeff Bezos' penis machine, purchased Twitch, so they've got that backing. It's basically kind of like Amazon versus Google right now.
Yeah, and then they still have like Pokemon, and they still have a few other pretty decent streamers.
All of Overwatch leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I still see that they're it'll hurt them a little bit, but I don't think their numbers are going to drop too much.
Yeah, they won't feel it too rough. I mean, how many people are only getting onto Twitch for one viewer?
Yeah.
Or
I don't know. Other than that, the other thing I got is the Fortnite live event is this Sunday, I think 1 p.m. Pacific. And then there's supposed to be, I think, 18 hours of downtime.
Is that your family?
No. No. My family thing's in the evening.
Well timed.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's all I really got.
Alrighty.
Do you have one?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, it's not really gaming news. It's just funny. For those of you that aren't watching this, so they're listening to it, the shirt I'm wearing right now makes like every time I look at my side profile, I think I look like a kid, don't I? Because I just got a haircut, so my hair is shorter. It's like tucked to the side as you had to do as a kid usually, at least a little kid, and then it's just so baggy on me because like it's just.
I told you it was going to be large.
I just every time I look at it, I keep thinking I look like a kid.
You're fine.
My original shirt that I was wearing was too white, and so it was messing with the light balance. And ironically, when I took it off, my bare skin was whiter, and so it messed with it even more.
All right, folks. That's going to be if.
No announcements.
Yeah, I have a couple announcements. So
I got you, Doc.
Extra Life has extended their D&D Dice campaign. So again, make sure you hit that Extra Life campaign link down below. Raise $150 by the 15th. We earn a set of D&D dice, which we will find a way to display proudly in our new studio area. And then, of course, always make sure you're checking us out on all of our links and stuff down below. So that was the other major announcement that I had, but we can go ahead and outro now.
Yeah, think
Cough,
there's really anything in Marvel and DC just besides whatchamacallit hitting theaters here pretty soon. Or did it?
Shang-Chi?
So keep
Zing
an eye
G.
out.
I think
for,
it's already out.
Yeah, it was this Friday, right? Yeah, or this last Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
please.
before I forget, this just happened a couple hours ago. Battlefield's Irish actor, Michael K. Williams, has been found dead in his apartment at 54.
Oh, yeah.
He's also in The Wire and Boardwalk Empire.
Mm.
No cause of death or anything
Yeah.
yet, but that just happened like a couple hours ago. So
R.I.P.
yeah.
I have no idea who that
That's okay. We're good. All right, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and call it an episode now. Thank you for what? Oh, I thought the music was no.
So,
Oh, yeah, that. Sorry.
No more announcements.
We're gonna go ahead and make the announcement that this is going to be our last gaming news that we're gonna be doing. So I don't want anybody to expect anything as far as gaming news is concerned coming out of Tuesdays or Mondays or Tuesdays. It's just not feasible for us. Right now, we're taking on a lot of projects, and we want to go ahead and make sure that we're giving you and providing you guys the best possible the best possible show and content that we could possibly provide. So this is going to be our last gaming news. We're going to restructure the show so that way it better suits better suits us, helps us, and just kind of just provides a better show in general. So this is our last gaming news going forward, so we can double up on other stuff. If you guys have any questions, make sure you feel free to reach out to us. I am going to go ahead and for all the people watching on YouTube, I am going to go ahead and post the Extra Life campaign link. But this is going to be the end of our episode here. We're going to go ahead and call it for anybody listening on Anchor or Spotify. Thank you for whoever joined us on this episode. If you haven't already, please make sure you follow us on whatever platform you listen to us on. And if you wouldn't mind, leave us a review. Mike would really, really like 5 stars, but the rest of us will greatly appreciate anything that you give us. Please be sure to stay tuned and make sure you follow the Instagrams and all the other places that were listed for anything updated and how we're going to restructure this show for you guys. If you're watching on YouTube, continue to hang out with us. We're going to let some music play. If you're watching us or listening to us on Anchor, thank you for listening. We'll go ahead and see you sometime next week when we have more news, more episodes, or more of whatever's going on. I've been here with
Irishguy, aka Mike.
This is Doc.
In Zmainia.
Thank everybody for joining us. I'm Gameboy. You enjoy the rest of your week.
All right. We are back. We're going to be starting the next recording here shortly. I didn't hit record yet. All right. 3, 2.
Yeah.
3. See if I'll focus on that, because that was your head, right?
Do I need to lift up my shirt again?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome everybody to Strike Team Gaming Presents Level 4 XP, and welcome to your pre-scheduled episode brought to you by Anchor, Strike Team Gaming. Today we're going to go ahead and go a little different of a route. We have here, which will by the time this releases be a little dated, but that's okay. We're talking about it now. Going to be breaking down and looking at the new Spider-Man Far From Home trailer that recently released on YouTube. So, without further ado, first, let me introduce who I'm here with.
Irishguy, a.k.a. Mike.
This is Doc.
And Zmainia.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Game Boy. So, the reason this episode's taking place is because a couple weeks ago during our last recording, Doc had made mention that the Spider-Man trailer had released. And at that time, I thought it was the recorded in a movie theater, fake, like, poorly edited version that had been circling the internet for some time.
You thought it was the fake one?
Yeah.
Fake news.
So that's what I thought it was. But we had recently discovered that the official one had released. Major.
Just.
Yeah. I don't know the word to describe it, but it released, and it released with pretty much a bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say my favorite part of watching that trailer was thinking about how we still have a Doctor Strange movie coming out.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, because this is already, like, if you didn't tell me this was a Spider-Man movie, a trailer, and you just showed me the trailer, I would think, okay, Doctor Strange, and, Multiverse of Madness it's gonna be pretty cool. I thought it would be a little bit less Spider-Man, but, it still looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, the movie pretty much hinted at Spidey's life is now over because everybody knows who it is. Good job, J. Jonah Jameson. And he wants his life back, so he goes to Doctor Strange to try and get it back, and all hell breaks loose because if we know anything about Parker, he's a angsty little teenage boy. So if you haven't seen the trailer, go ahead and watch it now. Spider-Man Far From Home official trailer. And then, you can come back to this, but we highly recommend watching it. So we're going to go ahead and go through the screen ramp breakdown of everything that happened in it. And I thought this would be a really exciting episode to do because, Doc, you love conspiracy theories. And this entire trailer was one big conspiracy theory.
Yes, I do.
So we're going to go ahead and break it down. There's some theories that I kind of saw that I was kind of like, okay, that's what's going on. Before we start, off tilt, does anybody have preliminary expectations of anything you kind of want to address, or do you guys want to just go through the breakdown?
I have something I think is pretty important. This is gonna be awesome. Thank you. That is all.
This guy. So pretty much, I don't know a lot of what everyone is going to be, what they're referencing. So I'm going to need a lot of help with this.
Okay.
So the first one that they pointed out was a Steve Ditko homage. In the trailer begins, it was a nod toward Peter Parker's very creation in the pages of Marvel Comics. Behind Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Zendaya's MJ, street art read Ditko can be spotted, a neat homage to Steve Ditko, who devised the character alongside Stan Lee. It's a groundbreaking moment before the craziness ensues. So pretty much that should be self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Second one, Far From Home Fallout. Peter and MJ enjoy a peaceful, romantic rooftop excursion away from the bustling streets of New York. Zendaya reads a newspaper that features the headline Spider Minions and besmirches a good name of Spider-Man by claiming that the Arachnid Avenger can hypnotize women. This inaccurate, unless Peter hypnotized us too, tabloid title is a direct result of J. Jonah Jameson's revealing Spider-Man's identity at the end of Spider-Man 2. Peter walking free suggests he's not in immediate danger of being charged for Mysterio's crimes, but the world's opinion of Spidey has been poisoned regardless. So I think that they were saying here is this is pretty much hinting at JJJ's blatant, like, fake news style of reporting.
Yeah.
Yeah, his hatred for Spider-Man.
So this is kind of where first hint of other movies, right? So we all remember, I think it was Spider-Man 3, where MJ and Parker were laying in the webs, the hammock web thing. And this is pretty much what this is. Shades of Maguire and Dunst, and a visual Easter egg that's almost certainly intentional. The image of Peter and MJ together on a rooftop feels remarkably like Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst is laying in a web looking up at the Spider-Man 3.
There's a 4.
His legs are making a 4.
Oh.
Not Avengers.
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four, yeah.
No, yeah, I just point them out because
I don't know. I just saw that.
Oh,
It's-
okay.
It's interesting that his legs like that.
Or it's a triangle if you
What-
just focus on the inner crotch line.
Which movie is this one? Is this is 4, right?
Illuminati.
this is number 3. Spider-Man Far From Home is the third Spider-Man for Marvel MCU.
Yeah.
Not including any Avenger titles that he's in.
True.
So anyway, this pretty spoiler just kind of points out.
Looking too far into it.
Yeah,
This is number 4 for the other two, though.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, you heard it here first.
It is
got
number
this.
4 for the other two.
what do you mean?
The other two Spider-Man series.
For
Oh.
Tobey
Maguire.
Maguire and
I always forget his name.
Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
That guy.
that guy, yeah.
He didn't have the number 3 though. He only had Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
All right, he made a whole movie that none of us know
It's-
about. This
If
is
you
number
look at the
4.
legs, like one's 2, one.
There's only 3 feet, so it's his third. I don't know.
There's 3 legs.
I forget the title of this next one, but it says this is one of the several Spider-Man No Way Home trailer shots where Peter and MJ are frantically swinging through New York while J. Jonah Jameson's face is plastered on every screen in a 10-mile radius. These scenes reveal that the immediate aftermath following Spider-Man 2 mid-credit sequence and MJ's identical outfit is proof of this. We can confidently infer that Spidey's third solo movie picks up right after the second one, and Peter desperately trying to find himself and MJ away from the world's gaze while J.K. Simmons' massively digital face turns red over the mass menace all over again.
So for this one, I'm gonna let you know this wouldn't happen because one, Peter's underage. So I don't care how much publicity you have or power you have, government would have shut you down right then and there.
Mm.
2, this I think it is one of the comic books when his identity does get revealed. It's kind of similar to that.
And then this one was him being interviewed. Peter hasn't totally escaped the cops after being accused for terrorizing London with a fleet of drones. The police are investigating J. Jonah Jameson's big scoop, and Peter is forced to defend himself in an official inquiry. The handcuff proves he's cooperating. Though the interrogating officer isn't buying Peter Parker's Mysterio excuse, Tom Holland doesn't spend the rest of Spider-Man No Way Home in police custody, suggesting the cops can't pin him for the crime.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that or he broke out, but it didn't look like he was on the run.
So this is my one thing about this is that even though Shield's not truly, since it's been disbanded right as of right now,
Officially.
yeah, I still think that this is where my problem with whoever wrote the story for this, Nick would have had something to do with this to help fix this. You know, yeah, they had all their spoofs and stuff, but now you're saying that Shield, and this is the other thing is they don't mention anything about. I'm pretty sure they're not going to mention anything about Shield, even though Shield was the one that was helping Mysterio. So you're saying it's just Peter Parker that had all the dealings in this?
right? Like, how did he get those drones?
You also got to think it is just a trailer. They're just kind of getting
No,
the
I know,
hype up.
I know. And so the only other thing I'm speculating is because we do see something later on in the trailer, and I'm thinking that one of those people's actually backed Mysterio, and that is who's pushing this information and having the resources to push this information more.
So
one of the things I was thinking is because it is a trailer, they always want to, like, there's people that deep dive into it, like us, and you said Screen Rant.
Mhm.
They take things out of order, or they put things out of order the way that they happen in the movie to make it fit the story, to get you to think this when it's really going to be that.
oh, don't worry, I didn't just take from Screen Rant.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying. But still, the people that made the trailer could be doing that. So this could be, although not likely, at the end of the movie, or it could be at the beginning of the movie.
Right. I have something. You kind of hinted at something a little bit later. This next one was interesting because I don't think a lot of the Netflix MCU stuff kind of has ever officially been canonized as far as in the real MCU universe. But I thought this was pretty interesting when I read it. During the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer's interrogation sequence, an unseen figure slams a stack of paperwork in front of the handcuffed Peter, which, when you think about it, is an odd shot to include in a teaser trailer. Also, the shirt and tie combo looks suspiciously like something Charlie Cox's Murdoch would wear while on lawyer duties. Could this be Daredevil hired to represent Peter Parker as an attorney?
No.
And why?
The shots just, it doesn't match up. If you actually look at it, the guy is actually a little bit more overweight than Matt Murdock. Matt Murdock is actually like thin. He has the 6 packs.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you can see that dad bod.
if anything, this is a police officer or this is a district attorney that has paperwork. It's most likely an officer that supposedly has a case against him, and that's what this is.
Yeah.
Which, him being underage, yet again, I bring up, one, his aunt would have had to been there. They would have had a lawyer. Because, yeah, you can only, depending on your age, you can only charge, because I don't remember how old he is here. So, because that's the thing is, like, with their whole time travel sequence, they never really explain ages. So, it would be interesting to see how they're going to, quote-unquote, charge him
that's
as.
right. Yeah, he didn't age the 5 years.
Yeah.
So he would still be high school age.
Yes. So,
later on in the trailer, they show him walking through the halls.
yeah. So that's the thing is, like, you're still trying.
As like a 22-year-old.
You're still trying to charge a minor with this, and even then, these are police officers. This incident would be a federal offense, and because you're trying to do jurisdiction with London and all that stuff, so you would have the FBI involved
And probably Interpol.
Not the local PD.
Right.
Yeah. And he's 16, according to Google.
Yeah. So yeah, he would. They would still, because he's still technically a minor. If he was 17 or 18, then they could possibly get him to where they can kind of charge him as an adult depending on the incident. But still, he's still considered a minor.
Yeah.
MJ's relief, a key, albeit understated, moment from Spider-Man No Way Home trailer sees MJ tell Peter that she's relieved his superhero secret has been outed. MJ believes her boyfriend no longer having to hide his side gig is an absolute win, but Peter disagrees. The difference of opinion sets up the timeline splitting events to come.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it naively, like having your secret out, yeah, you don't have to keep it anymore, but like, she's obviously not thinking about the implications. Like, has she ever even seen a superhero movie or comic? Like, they go after the people you love. I mean, that's like, watch the first Spider-Man. Come on. Like, you think MJ got out?
Do Spider-Man movies exist in the world in the MCU? Or do superhero movies exist in the MCU.
Well, I mean,
Comic books still do. I mean,
They do hint at they made Captain America trading cards, so I'm pretty sure
yeah,
that they did make a Captain America comic book for that.
yeah.
Okay.
So it should. It like, and as I said, like there should at least be cartoons. I don't think, or not cartoons, comic books. I don't think Stan Lee would create a universe in which his comic books would not be welcomed or existing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I with this she's seen it from kind of like her point of view, and because now that Tony Stark had came out and stuff like that, but the thing is Tony Stark's an adult and has has money and power behind him.
Yeah,
So versus Peter, who is still fairly new to the game, just from what we were telling with the books, or from the movies and stuff, he's still fairly new, and it's just we'll see how it goes, really.
yeah. He's not established like Tony Stark is. He's still going to school, so he has to deal with all that stuff. He can't just ignore people. He's not in a position in which people are trying to get something from him, so they have to act with a certain level of decorum. So it's not even. I wouldn't even say it's really comparable to say put him on the same level or whatever as Tony Stark in terms of their identities being exposed. And when Tony was exposed, it wasn't like this. He wasn't wanted for like anything at that level.
Yeah.
Midtown Madness, to highlight how crazy Peter Parker's life has become since the dramatic Spider-Man Far From Home mid-credits. The trailer shows him walking into Midtown High through a throng of protests who aren't exactly on board with the friendly neighborhood bit of Spider-Man's gimmick. The close-up of Peter and MJ holding hands reaffirms that the couple are sticking together, but the web is obviously closing in on Spider-Man's loved ones. So going back to your guys', has she ever seen a... I think this is, from the last slide, this is supposed to highlight the severity of what she probably wasn't seeing at the time.
I think this is probably like a couple days after her saying that. I mean, it's like Mike said, they piece these together and out of order and stuff like that. We'll see how it goes, because this is those crowds that are feeding off of J. Jameson, and we have, I mean, through all the comic books, through all the cartoons and stuff, you always have the people that, feed off of the general populace and news networks and all that stuff, and they go to the extreme, and then it's the riots that happen with it, versus the people that Spider-Man has saved, or the that he's interacted with, and those people stand there and still support him and stuff. So
Yeah. And was that the only one like getting hints of when they desegregated schools back in the 60s?
Yep.
Like I was getting a feel of that, especially when they were holding hands. It was like when one of the daughters was, I think she was holding either her mom's hand the first day of school in the videos that they took, or it was like, I don't think it was a teacher. Yeah, I think it was her mom. I want to say.
Yeah, it feels a lot of like that, because now it's a superhero versus a non-superhero.
Yeah. Kind of like a more isolated version of the X-Men, desegregating with mutants. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything, or I'll save that for my final thoughts. So go ahead.
I forget the name of this one. A couple of fun and intriguing Easter eggs can be found among the school's crowd's insulting signage. One misguided soul with too much time on their hands holds a sign reading, "He's a menace," in tribute to the famous J. Jonah Jameson quote from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. Somewhat easier to spot is the inventive guy who drew Peter with devil horns and a mustache, accompanied with the phrase "devil in disguise." At this point, it's difficult to tell whether the MCU really is building toward Mephisto or whether Kevin Feige's trolling everyone, but the long-rumored villain does have a solid connection to Spider-Man No Way Home, which we'll get to soon. They do. So let's save that for for a little bit later. But as far as this is concerned, anybody got anything?
Yeah, that makes sense. especially if he actually does have a connection, Mephisto, to Far From Home, then it would only make sense to pepper in just little bits of like flavor in the background. Hey, no, he is a part of it, and although this isn't anything that says it definitively, it's supposed to like keep that rolling in the back of your mind.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because since they're saying that they're not going to be doing any more like really big bad guys, where everybody,
No Thanos level.
yeah, Thanos level and stuff like that, where everybody comes together in a single movie. It'll be interesting how they do this because Mephisto is a very prominent character in a lot of this, especially with Doctor Strange and stuff. So it might also be hinting at maybe they're not going to do like where everybody comes together, but maybe like a couple of the other, come together, or tie in kind of like what we're doing now, where you have two of the characters and stuff like that.
They've definitely been hinting at squads.
Yeah.
Or not so much the squad as in like Suicide Squad. No, not like squads like Guardians of the Galaxy where they're a unit themselves, but just temporary pairings based off of how like what the enemy is and how they want to do it.
Yeah.
A Far From Home deleted scene. Spider-Man Far From Home concept art showed Peter Parker scaling the Statue of Liberty surrounded by helicopters. Had this moment been filmed, it would likely have slotted in after the J. Jonah Jameson broadcast, as the web-slinger found himself on the run. Spider-Man No Way Home has, sort of, repurposed that idea, with MJ and Peter perched upon a bridge surrounded by choppers echoing the original artwork from 2019. I don't know what they're talking about here. Does anybody else?
I have not seen the deleted scenes.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah. Okay, I'll move on. This was hinting at the chick that in the first and second one where they did the news. And she was like, oh, the blip. So this pretty much hinted at her. As Peter returns to school, presumably for the first time since everyone discovered that he can clean the walls and stuff. The phone cameras are well and truly out. Cast your eye in the upper right of the shot, however, and Angori Rice Betty's Bryant can be seen presenting her usual Midtown High newscast. You'd imagine Betty would be the voice of support for Peter among the barrage of media hatred, and it would be fun to see Betty's news career take off because every other official outlet has turned against the Avenger. In either case, more Midtown High news can only be a good thing, and the segments in Spider-Man Far From Home were comedy gold. So it's pretty much saying, "Hey, Peter's here. This is the news." She was like apparently a real fun segue between scenes.
Yeah.
And this looks like it's going to be a guaranteed she's coming back.
It would be nice if she was at least a little bright light in his otherwise darkest hours.
Yeah.
Other than when he literally went dark for about 5 years.
Not by choice. Thanos snapped me.
This, per se.
This was called the Aunt May's reaction. First look of returning of Marissa Tomei, which, by the way, I love her. Returning as Peter Parker's Aunt May. The pair who are watching J. Jonah Jameson's Daily Bugle on TV are surprised by someone entering the apartment while police lights flash outside. There's plenty of speculation over who the mystery intruder might be, from a multiverse invader to one of Spider-Man No Way Home's many villains. But what if the scene marks the debut of MCU's Uncle Ben? And in all the reality-altering shenanigans going on, the one person who might suddenly materialize unannounced in Aunt May's life is her late husband and Peter's uncle.
That's a good one. Like, do we have any Uncle Bens that survived?
Yes, there's an Uncle Ben that survives.
Yeah?
The rice.
It's
Thank you for not responding to that.
when it's actually Gwen Stacy that takes the role as Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
See, Uncle Ben survived.
Oh, yeah. Was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse canon?
Yeah.
Okay. Then, yeah, that Uncle Ben.
If Stan Lee was alive, this would be his cameo.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that would be more
Is
of
this
like
the
an actual
Robinson's
role.
house? I got a pizza for you.
So with this, I don't think it's that. I honestly think it's them watching the story of him, but now this is where the accusations of the police coming in to arrest him. That's what this scene is.
Most likely.
I can see that. If there is going to be a quote-unquote Stan Lee cameo, it should be Deadpool drip with the wig.
Yeah, but Disney never listens to its
No.
people.
Yeah, I know.
Netamegate question. Furthering the idea that Peter's superhero alter ego is hurting the people he loves, brief shots reveal Jacob Battlin's Ned and Aunt May are both getting questioned by the police, presumably in relation to Peter Parker's possible involvement in the London drone attack. Neither has anything to hide for now, right, Ned? But Tom Holland's character won't like the idea of putting his loved ones through such turmoil. Okay.
Yeah. Peter Parker definitely is in a precarious pickle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say that 5 times fast. A strange connection. This was funny, and I don't understand these lights. I would like to know the time this was
The
going
store
on.
You could buy them at.
Right. Many MCU fans were wondering exactly how Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange might be woven into Spider-Man No Way Home, but few guessed Halloween decorations would be the answer. In this scene, Peter is contemplating how to solve his not-so-secret identity problem, catches the sight of a vampire lantern with a wizard's hat and goatee, suddenly realizing that Stephen Strange might be up for the job. I think this was really pushed. I think
That
this
is
was
so ridiculous.
really...
This is a lot of their stuff.
Hey, you remember that stereotype witch,
Yeah.
with the hat and then the cape? Well, this all makes sense. And then the goatee. Wait, what? Goatee? Yeah, goatee. Yeah, like they always do. And that it's a man. These are stereotypical witch stuff.
I mean, this was literally
100%.
just like hammered home.
Yeah.
Right?
And,
That hurt.
They could have spit on it.
with the I keep wanting to call him Benadryl Cumberbatch because
Benadryl.
if I say that, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about.
Gosh.
But yeah, that's all.
Constructive.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is about where I kind of started to go, huh? Because, like, if this were, like, December, this would make sense. This was called Snowy Sanctum. Peter visits Doctor Strange at New York's Sanctum Sanctorum, only to find the entire interior covered in snow. The building looks like it had been repaired since Hulk crashed through the roof, and it's perfectly sunny when Peter approaches the sanctum. So the safest bet is that Doctor Strange has recently endured some kind of magical accident covering his HQ in snow by mistake. This explains why he hasn't cleared this stuff yet, despite having, magic powers.
It's kind of weird that I feel like they've messed up pretty badly on this. First of all, before I say why they missed something, it made me kind of think of the White Witch in Narnia. Like this would be her house if she lived in New York. But moving on, they actually opened a door to Narnia, if you remember, or wherever there is snow. I can't remember his name. When the other dude, the library, the keeper of the books from the first Doctor Strange movie, when he was on screen, he was yelling, "Hey, don't do the spell!" And then he goes through a portal that has a blizzard coming through it. So it should make sense that first of all that snow came from the blizzard. Second of all, it was probably hot. This is New York. It's not exactly cold during the winter. So maybe instead of running the AC, you just open a portal.
New York has some of the most heaviest snow during this winter.
I said summer.
You did say winter.
I said no. I said and it's not winter. I said
Oh, not
yeah.
Didn't hear that.
I said the word, but I specified opposite. But yeah, so it's a lot. Well, I mean, you have the recording. You can check it later. But
Or
yeah,
review
so
the footage.
during summer, maybe you don't want to spend a bunch of money on the AC unit, so you just open up a portal to the Abominable Snowman's house.
So, go ahead.
With this, I think there was, even though he has magical powers, I think there's a magical mishap that happened, really, and he can't clear this out through magical means.
Or not so fast because they got somebody shoveling.
Yeah, they got
Just
somebody
noticed that. I was
shoveling.
going to say, if you look at the bottom left of that picture, you see somebody looks like shoveling.
How many stores do you think they had to go to find that shovel in the middle of summer?
They have prop
That's
center.
New York. They probably have them.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I meant in canon, not the Disney prop department.
well, I'm just saying, like, he's got Halloween decorations up.
True.
Oh yeah,
So it is.
it would get chilly by then,
Yeah.
but not that chilly. But they still have that portal open. They probably a
I could-
creature
I could
somehow
see
got
that.
in there or broke free from their restraints and escaped through a portal, and that's why they're chasing after it iced. That's
Because
that's
it
my
does.
final
If you
answer.
look at the edge of the frame, it does look like a doorway, and it is frosted over.
Right. If you look on the right hand side, the frost line is a little lower than it is on the left, which could be explained from it coming out in a cone shape, and then it can only reach so far before it.
You guys are
disappears.
looking too much into this. Now you guys are looking too much into this.
Whatever.
So
And
before,
if you look really closely, you might be able to see Bigfoot in there. I don't know.
so before I would go to the next slide and screen rant, I forget who this was from, but this pretty much goes. The next slide kind of hints at Doctor Strange's behavior, and I forget the Snapchat story that I saw that I took this from, so I'll have to find it later. But it pretty much says, "Wow, Doctor Strange is acting strange." You know, a lot of the behavior that he was displaying during his time on screen, especially in Sanctum Sanctorum, was not in line with his character, you know, and his outfit and everything, and then the comics that we saw Mephisto in duplicated that what we saw in the trailer.
That makes a lot of sense, actually, because that when I was watching the trailer, I was confused by why he just agreed so readily. He didn't really require any persuading, and in fact, he was tried to, or guy who's going through tunnel, bookkeeper, librarian, was trying to say, "Hey, don't." Well, he literally said, "Hey, don't do it." Went through the portal, and then Strange was like, "Yeah, we're totally gonna do it." Like, yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Even if it wasn't Mephisto, because I mean, he did do the magic. I don't know if Mephisto does the same type of magic, but
He knows.
he could be under control or at least subtly influenced.
So yeah, that was the other theory, is that Mysterio is alive and he's creating illusions to take advantage and mess with Peter yet again.
Yeah, especially because Doctor Strange no longer has the time stone, so he's powerful, but he's a regular wizard, if you will.
Makes sense.
No, nobody. Okay, moving on.
I don't. I'll dive into it later.
Okay. And then I forget what the name of this was. Riffing. Oh, Steven was the name of this one. Riffing off their first official meeting in Avengers Infinity War, where Peter mistakenly believed Doctor Strange was a superhero name, Tom Holland calls Benedict Cumberbatch Sir, and only for a master of the mystic arts to insist on foregoing such formalities. Peter relents and refers to Doctor Strange as Steven instead. It sounds weird, and Strange thinks so too. It's also a funny exchange, but it also confirms suspicions that Cumberbatch's character will adopt Tony Stark's fatherly role in Spider-Man No Way Home. So, my thought here, in relation to what we just saw, I think in anything that we saw with Doctor Strange in it, he's Doctor Strange. That's how you refer to him, and that's how he tells people to refer to him.
Yeah. He tends to dissociate himself from all of that, if you will.
I think Doc is really holding on until the very last minute because he's got some stuff brewing.
If we go based off what we previously were talking about with him being manipulated in some manner by Mephisto, then it wouldn't be too odd if part of that manipulation was seeing him as like that son he never had, or feeling bad for the lost puppy dog who no longer has Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get the character act. That's the problem is with a lot of these newer things. It's always you have a pre-existing character trying to mentor the next character, or act as the fatherly figure. So I can just see, because I think there's a toy reference to Spider-Man having the cloak, because Spider-Man does become I want to say it's called Magister Supreme Spider-Man or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see.
All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and use this time to take a quick break and pause in the episode. If you're listening on Anchor, you're going to enjoy a nice little Anchor ad. Feel free to take this time, leave a review, follow us, find the Instagrams, check out the Extra Life campaign, whatever you got to do, but make sure you come back to Strike Team Gaming Presents Level 4 XP. And we're just going to burn right back into it. All right, welcome. Hope you enjoyed that Anchor ad. We're going to go ahead and continue to deep dive back into this article from Screen Rant, detailing and breaking down the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer.
Oh, you want me to turn down the music? I'm sorry. I just love that jam. It's hard. I forget.
Where we last left off, we were kind of discussing whether or not Doctor Strange was either Mysterio or Mephisto, or if his behavior was kind of not within character of what we're used to. So we're just going to keep going through the breakthrough. That was the last thing we talked about before the break. Continuing on, the next thing we have focuses on necessarily Doctor Strange's attire and specifically the peripheral he's holding. Doctor Strange drinks a mug reading O for Fox, F-O-X, YouTube, sake, which continues the out-of-place office humor he brings to Sanctum Sanctorum, like sending Wong for lunch. With speculation hats firmly on, the mug be referencing the MCU's incoming wave of heroes previously owned by Fox, namely the Fantastic Four and X-Men. With different worlds melding together, Spider-Man Far From Home has certainly be where Reed Richards or the mutants make their official debut.
No Way Home.
No? Nothing? You're still holding strong over there?
No. Also, what typically is a Fox reference to?
Predator. Someone snatching something.
Being sly.
Yeah.
Yep. Mephisto is a sly. He's a devil.
He's the one who tricked Fox into giving up those titles.
Yes. Not their bank account.
So here,
The slightest.
right about here is where I start to take issue with all these possibilities, and then what we're going to talk about later, all these characters coming in. Because if you remember why Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3 kind of failed, is people really could not just keep together all the villains in the movie and all the characters and everything that was happening. Not to necessarily say that the villains were done poorly, but there were a lot of characters for people to focus on.
That makes sense. Oh, you want to take this one?
No, I was just gonna say the one problem I had with that is, with that movie is because they're trying to set up the characters.
Yeah.
It's the matter of when you're still trying to tell a story with these characters that you have still yet to introduce. That's where you lie with the problem, because now most of your stories introducing these characters, and now all of a sudden you're having a small fight scene with them. And it's supposed to be a really epic fight scene. But if you already have these characters introduced or some type of backstory to them, then it's easier just to throw them in. And that's why I was looking forward to kind of the Sinister Six with Andrew Garfield's characters, because we've already kind of hinted at them and we already kind of know some of the characters. And that's why I think they were talking about doing a movie where it was just them first, because that's perfect. You have your introduction to the characters. Now, bam, here's Spider-Man. Now we're battling.
Yeah, that was one of my major problems with Marvel's Spider-Man, the video game on PlayStation 5, was you're early on, you're introduced to the Sinister Six as the idea. And then you play the game, they break out of spoiler alert, but the game's been out forever. They break out of prison, they beat spiders up. Thank you. And then they escape. Yeah. And well, now you got to go and recapture them again. But like when you start you think you would fight them one at a time because they each got unique skills. No, you're fighting them two here, a hulked out Mr. Negative, and then a hulked out Doc Ock. Mm-hmm. They really just speed through the fight. You don't really get to enjoy each individual character, which is what I'm hoping they don't do here.
Well, with that, I can see why, because with some of the characters, they're not as powerful. Mm. And so having two of them, like Octavius is one of Peter's greatest villains. Not really the Green Goblin. It's really Dr. Octavius. I personally believe, because it also depends on which Green Goblin you're talking about versus
Right.
Hobgoblin versus, whichever Goblin you're talking about.
Yeah.
And everybody says it's Green Goblin. Honestly, I don't think so.
For Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, I would say that it would be Green Goblin. One, because it kind of transcends not just the original one, but Little Green Goblin, the son. And also, it's not just about like the difficulty of the battle or the stakes, but also the emotional and psychological effect that his existence had, and the loss of the Green Goblin, and then the rediscovery of him, which created Green Goblin Jr. and their relationship changing. Like those are the aspects that would make me think that the Green Goblin would be. And I say specifically with regards to Tobey Maguire, because based off of Dr. Octavius that we saw in this one, it seems like we're probably going to get that Joker as well, Tobey Maguire's.
Yeah, and I think they might, the way that they're doing it, it might be a little bit different, because this one seems a little bit more put together versus the one that we saw in Tobey Maguire's.
Maybe. One thing that I was taking from that, which is why I thought it would be Tobey Maguire's Green Goblin, is sorry, it's been a long day. Was the laugh that did sound a lot like the
William Dafoe.
Yeah, William Dafoe's cackle, if you will. Great cackle. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying it. But that did sound a lot like William Dafoe in there.
Yeah.
Am I the one who heard that?
No, I heard it too.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, and you kind of hinted at something for a little bit later. So you guys, everything seems to be tunneling towards like the end thing. Spider-Man's black suit. So this kind of goes back to the merchandise thing that you mentioned, and I kind of saw two things going this way on this one.
Venom.
Thanks to Spider-Man No Way Home, merch leaks whose service to spoilers outshines Tom Holland and Alfred Molina's combined. Oh, that was when I found out the Alfred Molina likes to spoil stuff. I couldn't help myself from laughing.
Right.
The black and gold Spider-Man suit was already common knowledge. The outfit's purpose remains a mystery, though it appears to have been built with Doctor Strange's input. This scene offers little extra. An unmasked Spidey is running through a homeless shelter Aunt May volunteered at. Okay, so I didn't read that part. They're starting to tie in the game with the movie, because in the game, Aunt May works at Feast, a homeless shelter that literally becomes Spider-Man's focal point for the only time he sees Aunt May. And it helps introduce Miles Morales as well as the new Spider-Man, So for me, I certainly hope this isn't the Venom suit.
No.
That would be a little disappointing, and especially considering the thing that we'll be talking about a little bit later. But I also think that maybe this might be another, here's my father figure encroaching on my suit kind of deal.
I think it's the latter of the two.
I think it has a taste of that, but like in the trailer, it did show Strange kind of separating him, like two parts of him kind of.
Astral plane projection.
Yeah. So this suit could have something to do with either facilitating that split or keeping them together after they've been split so much that they kind of become separate entities. Because he was hinting at, if you try living that double life so much, you'll end up losing yourself or losing that part of you. So this suit could potentially be something that helps him keep it together. Yeah, that's what I think it's going to be. Something like that. Or the inverse. It allows him to separate.
No? Okay.
Well, Doc?
He's like really buttoned up. He's waiting for something. I wonder what it is.
He's got to poke him with a needle and he's just going to explode.
More post Far From Home shots. As Peter Parker tells Doctor Strange how crazy life became thanks to JJJ. Another scene from the minutes after Spider-Man Far From Home is shown. Interestingly, this crowd seems more supportive of Spider-Man rather than calling for his head, suggesting public opinion on the web slinger is more split than the Daily Bugle would have you believe.
So this looks like the scene right before they end up on the bridge,
Mm.
because
That's his outfit.
that's his outfit, and then MJ's right there, so right next to him.
Or could it be after the bridge? Because, like, instead of them changing public opinion and then they show up and things are cool, I feel like it's more he just saved them, and so they're, like, they had that change. Because that's usually more the angle they go in these movies.
Well, that's the thing. So what it looks like was that he's actually probably coming from up the subway, and the crowd saw him. And so because they were swarming, he was probably trying to get away with them.
I can't quite see, but which side is MJ on?
The white and
Jeez.
black, right, our left side, his right side.
Okay, then in that case, I would disagree with you. Only because if that was the case, I feel like he'd be the one dragging her through, so she should be behind them. He might be directing them to get out of the way because things are about to go from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds ago, so I need you out.
It'll be interesting to kind of see where they're at.
Yeah, you even have that woman in the back going down the steps, and then the other ones are just looking.
Yeah.
So maybe she has
That's
the
the
best
extra
sense
that
out of all of
didn't know
them.
what they were doing.
Right.
One thing is, I don't remember. We were because did we already do the bridge shot? Or?
Yes.
Okay, I don't remember what MJ's wearing, but that could be a sign that it is not from. It looks pretty damn similar.
No, that's her. That's the outfit.
That is
Yeah.
the same outfit, yeah. So
'Cause
this isn't the same cinematic day. Maybe
that's
even
the same outfit that she was wearing at the beginning shot of the trailer. So
On the roof.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peter's plan. Let's talk about Peter's plan for a minute. What's the point of having a wizard friend if they can't rewrite reality from you now and then?
Right.
Peter Parker reckons life has been awful since his identity was revealed, and he wants Doctor Strange to undo the damage, making it so that Triple J broadcast never happened. This line explains the underlying reason for the multiverse madness to come into Spider-Man No Way Home. Peter wants his
Anonymity.
fuck that word. Spider's request connects to several key Marvel comic stories, but chiefly the 2007 One More Day arc. After revealing his identity to the world during Civil War and watching Aunt May die as a result, Peter asks Strange to undo the damage. Despite the Sorcerer's help, Peter can't bring May back and turns to someone else in desperation. That's someone else's name, Mephisto. Doc's going to button up here. So I just, honestly, so this is about where you're like, when we start talking about multiverse, and I have an article that I wanted to talk about, but I just think it would prolong time. That kind of hints at like Marvel doing the same, the MCU doing the same thing over and over again. You have this story over here that you notice connects the end credit scenes. You know, you have this story over here, it's going to connect. You have this story over here, it's going to connect. And it all came down to what? Infinity War and Endgame, right? So in the article, it says it's doing the same thing. Wong was leaving. Where do you think he was going?
Groceries.
No. He was the one featured in the Shang-Chi trailer fighting Abomination.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you start having all these multiverses, you know, that really beautiful Loki, Sylvie. She did something to the one at the end or whatever his name was.
King the Conqueror.
Well, that's not who he's. You're jumping. So you have all these things tying together, and the first Avenger movie of this phase being Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Or at least Avenger level,
Yeah. That's where I'm starting to see, like, because like Thor: Love and Thunder. Remember when I was telling you that? Oh, I watched Loki. I'm like, okay, now I can see where, you know, female Thor comes in, you know, kind of deal, or how they're going to explain it or whatever, as you know, Jane Foster being the Thor, or her resemblance, you know, being Thor. So I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to see all this stuff come together. This right here. Now I'm saying where Sylvie and Loki and WandaVision and this are now going to be the first phase 4 come together movie, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I don't think so. But with this is, what's Peter doing?
He wants his life back.
Pleading.
Exactly.
Begging.
What does Mephisto do? Grants wishes.
Yeah. He's like the fairy godmother from hell.
Well, Mephistos is he manages his own realm, which I want to say is hell, or one of the versions of hell.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much like the devil. He grants wishes. What does Peter want? He wants his life back.
I'll give you even more.
And that's what this is.
I'll give you 2 lives more.
Yeah, this is Mephisto.
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 Bite your lower lip. Fisto. There we go. Beautiful. Especially the hairs. Tastes great, less filling.
Yeah, right. No, this is leading up to him, I think, fighting him and him actually becoming, maybe, like I said, mentioned it before, Spider-Man Supreme, or Supreme. I want to say it's Supreme Spider-Man is where he becomes that.
El Grande.
Yeah. And with all the other ties of the other stuff together, it's really going to be interesting how they really kick off this one.
So here we are, as previously mentioned. Wong. 2 Wongs don't make a right. All right. The Spider-Man Far From Home trailer sees Benedict Wong leave Sanctum Sanctorum for a destination unknown, given the character's fleeting appearance, battling Abomination at the fighting of the tournament in Shang-Chi's The Legend of the Ten Rings. It's possible Wong is heading on a side mission connected to the Mandarin, or he's just taking time for a well-earned vacation. Either way, he warns Strange against casting Peter's spell, continuing his role as a sole voice of reason among mystic arts practitioners. Does Doctor Strange listen? There wouldn't be a multiverse if he had.
Yeah, they opened up a literal portal between the 2 shows, movies, whatever.
The other thing that I keep thinking that they keep hammering home is, you guys haven't seen episode 4. Never mind. So I won't go there.
Yeah, I haven't seen 4. Yeah, I've only seen up to 3. So
I'm assuming you're talking about What If.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. Peter and Strange head to Sanctum Sanctorum's basement, Lego sets which will be available. Oh, never mind. And begin casting the spell to make everyone forget Spider-Man's true identity. The sorcerer plucks a hair from Peter's head to use as conjuring ingredient. He did the same thing to Thor in Thor Ragnarok when sending the God of Thunder to see Odin, and gets the casting underway, but Peter keeps making amendments. He doesn't want Aunt May, MJ, or Ned to forget the truth, but each change to the spell interferes with Strange's concentration. This is seemingly how the multiverse splits in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, it shouldn't come as a surprise that Spider-Man talks his way into disaster. You know, if you watch the movies, or more specifically, if you've read any of the comics.
So my question is, if it's either way, Doctor Strange or Mephisto, wouldn't a sorcerer of their caliber be able to conduct a spell flawlessly?
No.
Or is that the part of the story where Mephisto did it on purpose, or he accidentally screwed it up?
I think it could go one of 2 ways. Either one, he would have messed it up either way if it is Mephisto, not just some influence. Actually, it could go either way, because if Mephisto decided to tamper with the spell while he was casting it, or tamper with him while he's casting it, it could have still failed. Or it could have succeeded, but if the failure comes later down the line, after everybody forgets, and then him telling anybody his identity that doesn't already know it, might break it. Break the spell, and that causes the destabilization. And it could even make everybody, not just the people who are civilians, but other superheroes, other Avengers, even they might forget that he existed. And if any of them found out, then that would break the spell. So I think there's a decent amount of potential where this could have fallen apart.
Mm-hmm. Doc is privately investigating.
So yeah, I think it could be he rolled poorly on his concentration spell.
So for those of you that don't know, when you
La.
Oh, no, it's okay. When you're concentrating on a spell, you have to roll to see if you get to keep concentrating on it if you get interfered with.
Man, I'm so glad we don't segue.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's doing research, so I'm just gonna ride my Segway.
So
Now you made me forget what I was going to. Anyway.
Oh, sorry.
So the reason why I was doing research, I was looking at Doctor Strange's spell as I'm looking here, and it looks a little bit different than some of his other spells. So that's what I was trying to figure out.
Though to be fair, just like how specifically in Doctor Strange 1, different books had different spell types, and then so the writing would be different based off of the era and the type of magic, like time magic being green because of the time stone being green. Memory, the color would suggest that it's a standard spell in terms of like that. It's not dark, it's not time, it's vanilla, if you will.
Which is funny, depending on the spell.
You'd think it would be less sharp lines like that and more something hazy, ethereal, indiscernible, because it clouds the mind instead of sharp, like cutting a dimension open, because it's so sharp. The fabric of space and time being cut.
When Peter Parker literally talks the universe into breaking, I swear, we just say something. Yeah. The Spider-Man No Way Home trailer revisits two very familiar MCU visuals. The purplish outer space effect that briefly surrounds Strange's mixing bowl is reminiscent of He Who Remains Citadel from Loki, which supposedly sat in the center of the entire multiverse, controlling different strands of reality. The second of the whooshing rainbow, used previously by both Doctor Strange and Loki to denote traveling through the multiverse. The colorful swoosh seems to be the MCU's interdimensional calling card. So, going back to the whole Loki and the WandaVision and everything else, the variant stuff, when it breaks off into different lines. I feel like What's-Her-Face killing, Sylvie killing He Who Remains, and this happening at the exact same time. Kind of.
Because I haven't seen WandaVision yet.
Okay.
Neither have I.
Okay. Then I won't say anymore.
I mean, it's not going to ruin it for me, but I just haven't seen it yet.
I'm seeing a lot of the shows starting to line up with this stuff.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the shows, though.
Right. There was a lot of branching out with the magic, a little different than Doctor Strange's usual Shadow Realm magic, or Mirror Dimension magic, I should say. It reminds me more of the splitting timelines from the end of Loki. And this is also, as they were talking about, heavily reminiscent of the sacred timeline going around in a circle, again, around the end of space. Or end of time, sorry.
This just kind of hints at what we've been talking about. Sylvie in the Loki finale coincidentally creating a rift in Peter's world. The next one is the Mirror Dimension. Doctor Strange is next seen chasing Peter Parker through New York's Mirror Dimension, the twisty-turny, inception-y world used by the Ancient One in Doctor Strange. John Watts, Spider-Man No Way Home director, has successfully recaptured the stomach-churning sensation. But more intriguing is why Strange is pursuing Spider-Man, enters life further in the film, but it seems Peter goes rogue in exploiting his multiversal lifestyle, and Strange tries to talk him down, similar to Tony Stark, again, in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, I think this ties in with the suit and, trying to keep it together. This could be the rogue personality that kind of wants to escape from it all.
So this is where later in the film where people start to question who's what and doing what. Jamie Foxx's Electro is one of the few legacy villains confirmed for Spider-Man No Way Home, having previously battled Andrew Garfield in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And this shot of the electrical bolts crackling against the police cars at a Daily Bugle news van might allude toward Fox's comeback. The actor has already stressed how MCU Electro will differ from Sony's, which is definitely not a bad thing. And those changes seem to include yellow lightning. Electro's bolts were blue in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but the comic characters are traditionally banana-colored.
It is nice that this multiverse flavoring gives that freedom to change these things because yes, it is like an electro. I said that right. But it's not that one. It's a variant of it because it doesn't have to like be as terrible.
Yeah.
Did anybody really have an issue with Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2, other than the Blue Lightning?
He was a bit flat, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the character just it wasn't as developed, I think.
Yeah,
especially with Jamie Foxx, like he has a very good range of stuff,
right.
and I just think the character was just not developed right.
I can't remember which one of you guys it was, but I think you said it very well in that they were kind of just like brought in and then go. They weren't brought in a way that was more natural or it's like cooking a steak. You got to bring out the flavor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you are vegan or vegetarian, it's like making an Impossible burger. You gotta find the flavor.
Right. So another snap image I got. Jamie Foxx confirmed to be Electro. This was Strange on a train. And I'm so upset myself that I remembered that. Doctor Strange attempting to trap Spider-Man by manipulating a train roof is further proof that these Avenger colleagues have a disagreement in Spider-Man No Way Home. Alternatively, could Spidey be fighting an evil Doctor Strange? The Sorcerer was replaced by a villainous variant. Peter would literally have, quote, no way home from the multiverse, like Marty McFly stranded in the 1950s without Doc Brown. Did you think they were fighting, or do you think, no, something else was going on?
I think I might need to rewatch it because for some reason I had the feeling that they were like running from something. Like, I don't know if I was the only one who got that.
No, I remember. I agree. I need to watch it, but I felt like they were running from something.
Right. And then when he wrapped him up in the train, it was almost like he was protecting him. Like, I don't know why, but that was the impression I got from that quick clip. I may need to rewatch it again to see if I missed anything.
They could have been playing like chase music or something to give you that impression, as a misdirect kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, you've hinted at something else, so we'll go from there. A vital slice of Living Two Lives. A vital slice of Doctor Strange's dialogue gives a clue as to why he and Peter might be at odds. The problem is you're trying to live two different lives. While this speech might simply imply Strange telling Peter that he can't be a superhero and expect to live a normal life, the line can also be interpreted literally. Maybe Spider-Man uses the broken Spider-Verse to simultaneously live in a Peter Parker reality where everything's normal and a Spider-Man reality where he saves the world. I think this, when he said that line, whether it's good or evil, it was a clever way of saying either own the fact that you're Spider-Man or stop being Spider-Man.
Yeah. Causing the dissociation between the two personalities, which is why I was talking about maybe one of them going rogue, which is why the suit was needed.
Mm. No, moving on.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you dare.
Spider-Man in the box. Just as the Ancient One did to him back in the day, Doctor Strange knocks Peter's spirit from his physical being using astral projection. This is likely part of their chase sequence, and the shot subtly reveals why Doctor Strange might be running after his friendly neighborhood Avenger. Spider-Man's empty vessel could be seen clutching an odd mystic box, almost certainly swiped from the Sanctum Sanctorum. There's no telling precisely what the stolen golden cube does, but it's a safe bet that Peter used it to solve his dual life problem.
Or to start it.
Right.
Yeah. And with that image there, a certain Lonely Island song pops into my head. Good job. Yeah.
You think this is the beginning of him truly like unlocking magical abilities as well? Because like, wasn't a big part of learning the mystic arts was being like having a certain degree of control over your astral projection. Like that was good training for it.
Yeah.
So this could have been his exposure that like unlocks it for him.
Could very well be. Okay, so remember this shot. We're going to talk about it later. But it's the Iron Spider suit. So I know you love this suit. Peter Parker dons a variety of costumes in Spider-Man No Way Home, including the self-made suit, the new black and gold number, and the Iron Spider from Avengers Infinity War, showcased here with limbs outstretched. The Iron Spider was largely ditched during Spider-Man Far From Home. Not enough room in his suitcase, but evidently remains an important weapon in Peter's spider wardrobe. So, yeah, okay. So this particular scene, we're hinting. So what you guys kind of hinted at earlier in this episode was maybe it's Marvel trying to do something else. And Marvel does have a history of showing us shit in the trailer, and then later in the movie, it just not be there. Or what is in the trailer is
Completely
edited
out of
funny.
context.
Yeah. So that's what a lot of people thought it was. A lot of space on either Spider-Man here in this shot. Kind of weird. So we're thinking that maybe this was edited to not include Tom and Toby.
This could have been where they like point at each other.
Right. So actually, what I like about the scene is look at that bottom left arm, if you will, and how that seems to be so weirdly
Can we
edited.
go back to the previous image so it's bigger?
It doesn't show it here.
Oh,
So just in this image, you could like how weirdly that like light kind of hits under that bottom left arm there. His bottom right, our bottom left.
If you look at
it is oddly blurry for those of you that can't see.
if you look at the image, go back to the other shot. So you see how he has 4 right here, and if you can still kind of see the shadowing of the color at the bottom where it's grayish. But if you go back to the other image, you see how he's actually missing an arm on that left side.
Yeah, it's like. Where's the cursor? Right here.
Yeah.
So it could be. I mean, they've done this before. They did it with Loki, where they actually didn't have female Loki in the back of the car, and they changed the whole scene. So
Happy Hogan. Brief appearance from Jon Favreau's Happy Hogan, taking a break from the making of The Mandalorian Season 3. Hogan sits in his car while armed cops close in on a flaming building. The target could be Peter, hence why Happy's face isn't living up to his name, or maybe one of many Spider-Man's villains pouring from the multiverse.
no, I think if anything, this is the let me see here.
Zach, Mike, anything?
Oh, sorry. I was investigating something.
So we just have Doc is examining it. This scene pretty much shows Happy in a car surrounded by cops next to a flaming building.
I don't know if it's cops. It might be. This is just my whole problem is when they try to do stuff like this, it just messes up everything.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain myself.
Yeah, same.
Okay. The shadowy figure. One trailer shot of Yellow Lightning could be a coincidence. 2 all but confirms the bolts are coming from Electro. And another Spider-Man movie villain could be lurking in the sequence. Either Electro has a really bad aim and his attacks picks up a massive wall of dust, or Spider-Man, seen here in the black and gold costume, is projected by Sandman. As with Lizard, this isn't necessarily the Sandman played by Thomas Hayden Church in Spider-Man 3, but it's interesting that the character is protecting Peter. Sandman makes amends with Tobey Maguire at the end of the 2007 movie, but might be continuing the redemption here by helping Tom Holland fight Electro.
Yeah. The black and gold outfits, though, is kind of what's throwing off.
It's a real pretty scene.
Yeah.
Nothing? Yeah, I mean one. Mr. Grinch.
That is an interesting thought, especially because at the end of Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire version, he kind of turned a new leaf. And if I remember correctly, there's a multiverse version of him that was never really bad at all. Or pretty much, like he didn't really do evil. Don't quote me on that. I'm basing that purely based off of memory. That is pretty rusty. But I vaguely recall that being a thing. So it would make sense. Maybe he was protecting him from Electro. Especially because, it all comes up. Oh, yeah, we talked about that one previously.
Though the Green Goblin doesn't grace the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer personally, an ominous pumpkin bomb confirms his presence. The explosive rolls along George Washington Bridge before detonating in front of Peter, and Sam Raimi fans will clock how the bomb's design is pretty much identical with William Dafoe's bombs in the original 2002 Spider-Man. The maniacal laughter in the background also sounds suspiciously like Dafoe, and the old saying goes, if it looks like William Dafoe and laughs like William Dafoe, it's probably William Dafoe. The prospect of OG Green Goblin facing off against Tom Holland in the MCU is attractive enough, but Norman Osborn's appearance could have wider ramification for Ned Leeds, who becomes Hobgoblin in the Marvel comics. Encountering the Green Goblin from another universe could trigger Jacob Batalon's villainous transformation in the MCU. Agree? Disagree?
Makes a fair bit of sense.
Yeah, I don't know a whole as far as like the backstory and stuff. Like I didn't read the comics or anything. But as somebody that doesn't read the comics, I think it'd be interesting to see how this does happen.
Hello, Peter. We might not see Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, William Dafoe, or Jamie Foxx, but the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer does reveal Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus in his full glory. The costume and arms are consistent with Spider-Man 2's design, and the "Hello, Peter" line provides Doc Ock knows the man behind the Spider-Man's mask personally. Despite being the trailer's final sting, Otto Octavius is absent from every other scene, suggesting he's not the main villain. Instead, Spider-Man No Way Home is essentially a Sinister Six movie with Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro, and more teaming up to ruin Peter Parker's life, even if it's not their Peter Parker. Sony has been clamoring for Sinister Six for almost a decade, and it seems Marvel are finally granting that wish.
See, like I said, setting everything up, and then you bring in the villains.
It pays to take your time and do it right.
Yeah.
So I did see an interesting theory here. I hope I got it somewhere, but I didn't. Of obviously, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock does not know Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Different universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the way he says, "Hello, Peter," there'd be no way he knows that's Peter Parker. So they said the theory is that he said it to someone he's familiar with. So possibly
Unless he's in the outfit.
true.
Which, if I remember correctly, he is in outfit in this scene.
Yeah, they're on the bridge, so I'm guessing he's in the outfit.
Okay. Yeah. And if he's not, and he says "Hello, Peter" to him,
Yes.
it's at that point he's saying it to someone familiar.
Yeah.
Either that or somebody told him.
Right.
Mephisto.
So this goes back to the fan theories of, because Marvel never includes scenes just for trailers or showing altered shots in trailers that are then omitted entirely or just corrected for the actual film we get to see. That never happens. They hint at Rocket and War Machine. They hint at the Endgame thing. They hint at Spider-Man and Iron Man flying together. Black Widow doing her thing.
You missed the Hulk.
Where?
Upper right.
Oh, yeah.
The Hulk's in there instead of the Hulkbuster.
You're right,
Yeah,
right.
it's not a bush.
Thanks.
You know.
This scene pretty much highlights what is this dark figure in this trailer. This is in the trailer where he whips around really quick. It's like a second on screen, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
So people are like, who's that shadowy figure? So if you look at it, right, because I don't know if I zoomed in on it. No. People are, GameSpot did a poll. Who is the hidden villain in the new Spider-Man trailer? People said Scorpion. People said Sandman. People said Venom because, they've been talking about doing they confirmed that these two universes will coincide.
So it's got to be the Vulture.
Or the Lizard. So like you look at that and who do you see? What do you think? I don't know if I can zoom in. Oh, yep.
We have the technology.
Nope, that ruined it.
We just don't know how to use it.
I'm going to stop touching stuff now. But, yeah.
It's really hard to tell, even with my
So-
glasses on.
I'm going to fill the silence here. This would also be another instance of let's say it's Venom, right? that I feel like that would be rushed again, because Let There Be Carnage is coming out. How are you going to justify Venom's inclusion here when Let There Be Carnage is yet to come out? Not only that, there's no actual hint at Venom or excuse me, Spider-Man in either of the Venom movies. And if they do, it for me just seems like it would be kind of misplaced. Next to that, I think Scorpion would also not be. Scorpion seems more plausible since we've already been introduced to him. And unless we're really going to hammer home the whole multiverse villains from another universe, it's the lizard thing. I think that it would be more appropriate if it was a Scorpion.
Yeah, that does look like Scorpion. Because, you can see a face on the bottom right-hand corner of the circle, and then that looks like his tail coming up, kind of looking like a sigh.
I don't see, because they've only hinted at. I'm trying to remember Garfield's version when they go through the thing of, because I know there's Vulture. I think there's Octavius, but like I said, the way they're doing it, it really looks like they're doing kind of what I've mentioned. We know these villains already.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing these villains that we know. So if they do bring Venom, it's a different Venom.
Right.
Yeah.
Which means that the Venom symbiote might get split.
Sorry about wait, why'd you back out? I just accidentally went the wrong direction.
No. Just from current slide. Left. Left. There.
Okay, I can't read it from here.
I don't know how to zoom in. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of.
Let me draw you a diagram real quick, because it looks like the body is in this area that I just ran. This looks like the shoulders. Right here is a head. Like this is a mouth area. Eyes. Maybe other eyes are ducked out because of the lighting. But if you look right here, it looks like the base of a tail, which would, if this is the shoulders, the tail would probably come out roughly right here. So it makes sense it would come up, and then it loops around. Like these are kind of the armor plating or scales or whatever you want to call it on it. And then Sai, the stinger of the scorpion tail. Honestly, out of all of them, the more I looked at it, the more it really just seemed like it could only be Scorpion. The tail coming.
The implication here is that what in the circle is the character.
Well, again,
no, I hear what you're saying.
It looks like he's also outside of the circle. I don't unless they're talking about this little thing right here, like two eyes. It looks like a slug from Adventure Time. Unless they're talking about that little thing right there, which I doubt. The circle should have been over here.
Plus, it's rendered very poorly on this.
Yeah, well, it's like you said, it's on screen for like a second, and you can tell that it's a screenshot taken from something that is shown like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not the greatest of quality.
Carnage Scorpion.
Well, it could be actually Mephistos.
Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Not abbreviation, apparition by Mephisto.
Yeah, it could be that,
What explain the two eyes on one side?
It could be an actual scene of him showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think that's more likely than,
Scorpion.
Yeah.
We shall agree to disagree.
All right. Does anybody have any final thoughts on this? No?
No. All right. So I just saw the scene again. It's shadow. So it's actually like shadows. It's more shadows than. Here it is. Watch.
Yeah.
So it's more shadows, like a smoke, than it is of like a figure there.
Okay.
It's go to It's 218
All right. I got to wait for this ad because I don't have YouTube, whatever.
Prime.
Yeah. Dumb. All right. So you said it was what?
218.
Oh yeah, I don't remember if we mentioned it earlier,
So,
but Steve Ditko was one of the co-creators of Spider-Man.
So now
Yeah.
go down to your settings.
Mm-hmm.
Hit normal. Hit yep, right there, and then hit play.
Except you're at 220.
Oh, yeah. 28. What did you say?
There.
Right there. All right.
So the scene's playing right now.
Oh, so however,
That's the
I don't.
box.
Yeah, it's after this, so just give it a bit.
Yeah.
We're
So-
watching it at 0.25 speed.
So
So
his if you notice, his arm does come out,
Mm-hmm.
but we do see they have digitally altered some. All right, here it comes up right now.
So that was definitely a physical body that jumped out.
Yeah,
yeah.
That was
So-
it. Wasn't like spawning from a cloud on that one.
but it stops if you see.
Mm.
Oh, there was some sort of magical barrier that it came.
Yeah,
in contact-
see it.
Yeah, the tail hit the magical barrier and it blocked it. It looked like.
See, that's the thing is that looks like a body, not really a tail, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's
I see
just so
like
fast.
Yeah. Imagine seeing that on screen with
See, I think
Like,
that's
try pausing in there.
See, I actually think that is somewhere in
Yeah, right there.
I think that's actually somewhere inside Doctor Strange's, or it's later on in the movie, because if you actually look at the walls, those are brick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a barrier. So that's why I'm thinking
Looks like it's a window or a
It's like
wardrobe.
it could be like a portal or something.
Yeah,
And
and that was that psi looking one was definitely not. So that's definitely not magic. That's definitely a physical or a different item that was deflected as it's being retracted back. It might be a ninja with a throwing psi type weapon, but
And for those of you that want to see it, it's at 2 minutes and 26 seconds.
remember to use the slowest playback speed available.
Yeah, I honestly with this, I think it's the character. I don't think it's Venom. Or not Venom. I don't think it's
Scorpion.
Scorpion. If anything, I would say it'd probably be a Venom symbiote. Just because of the displacement of it. It's either that or it's a shadow figure from if we are actually going down the road of
Mephisto.
Mephisto. Actually, go back to that one.
It
Let's
was
see.
Carnage Scorpion. Scorpion.
See, there's Black Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
See,
bottom
that
right
looks
middle.
white though. If you look at his outfit there, it looks white.
Spider-Man.
It doesn't look gold.
Yeah, there's a lot going on
See,
in this trailer.
that's what I mean.
In this one,
This is
yeah,
a
the
shadow.
gold is
I don't
coming
think it's
across.
Sandman. And if it is, that shadow figure that we see, then it's whatever this entity is right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that shadow figure is. Because if you look at it, it's the same displacement, it's the same effect. So as we're looking at, they show what we were talking about was that the supposed character coming in, it looks like it's recoiling, but then right here you start seeing. But
Yeah, that looked more like destruction than it.
yeah,
Because like if you look, Spider-Man's already kind of backing away as it comes up. So
and
it
it's
looked-
coming up out of the ground.
That could have been either an initial lightning strike or more specifically some other explosion or release of energy.
I still don't think that it's a oh gosh,
That could have been like a Green Goblin bomb that exploded, and
Yeah.
then Electro's trying to follow up but misses, as villains tend to do.
yeah. It's gonna be interesting to kind of see this because that outfit doesn't really look gold, but it could just be the lighting.
Like the reflection kind of
Yeah, it could be the reflection thing, and I just hope, because like as we're looking at these movies and stuff like that, everything is you know, kind of like what I've mentioned before. You play the characters, you play the you know, introduction to the characters. We all know these characters are right.
Yeah, the explosion in this one, size-wise, is kind of matching up with the explosion earlier. This one might be slightly bigger, but then again, there's also cars that it's blowing up, so it's not just blowing up dirt. So, you know, could be.
So we'll kind of
Could be a lot of things.
all right. Is that all you have, dude? On this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Zach, what's your final thought on this?
I look forward to it coming out because there's a lot of different directions it can go. It's hard to give a final thought because there's so many directions that are like plausible. I still think there's a decent chance it's a scorpion, but you know, whatever. But yeah, I definitely look forward to this. I want my Spider-Man point off, and I got William Dafoe. You better be in there. Don't just mess with us. That was like half the word. Does that count?
No,
We're only
no.
on one anyway. So.
Two.
Were we on two?
Yeah.
I said it again.
How about you, Irish guy?
I'm excited for it. It looks like it's going to be really good. I kind of want to go back and watch all the other Spider-Mans.
They're on Disney Plus, right?
I think so, yeah.
Cool.
Right, I'm going to need to go back.
They might be. It depends on what they have with Sony.
They should be, but, maybe Google it before you get a subscription based off of our word here alone at this moment.
But yeah, most people have it because of the Mandalorian.
Nonsense. We're just that
anyway
powerful.
I'm looking forward to it. Looking to see if it is going to be the I'm totally drawing a blank on the name. The Six. The Sinister Six. Yeah. It kind of tie into that, and then possibly have a Sinister Six movie down the line.
Maybe even a Sensuous Seven. Oh my!
But yeah, I'm excited for it.
All right, David, what's your final thoughts on it?
So I'm not gonna say the words. It'll be interesting. I will say that I hope that there's not too many Spider-Man. I hope they don't try to throw so many characters into this as they did in the past. I really hope that they really fine-tune and focus in on a handful of them, if anything, because with any movie there might be too much going on. I get the direction and the grandeur they're trying to go for, but I don't know if more. I think less is more in this case.
Yeah, it's like that idea of you have 100% screen time, and if you're like chopping it up too much for all of these characters, it could take away from the overall experience. Too many hands in the kitchen, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think with this. Sorry, was that your final?
Yeah.
Okay. So with this, I think Doctor Strange is not Doctor Strange. First of all, it is either Mephisto.
Dr. Mephisto. Bite your lip.
I fucking hate that character.
Gotta bite your lower lip.
Well, normally I can say it. For whatever reason today, I'm having a problem.
Aristocracies. Look it up.
I think he might be Strange, and they might be hinting to that because Strange is different. The first time we see him, he's not in his full gear. The only time we really see the quote-unquote gear is when he's when he's going to cast a spell, and the cauldron just looks different to me. Mm-hmm. What he's casting it in. And that was one of the things I actually looked up was there's an artifact that Doctor Strange uses to actually go to hell. And so that's what I was wondering if that might be this version of that. Or a chalice, I think it is. The whole Loki aspect of this, I think they have a good run. Or they with Loki messing up everything, quote unquote messing up everything instead of going with the sacred timeline. I think they're heading in the right direction. Hopefully they stay with it and there's not the soul all cookie cutter, rinse, repeat, all this same stuff. They change it up a little bit. And I think that's kind of what this is, because we haven't really had that one of where we've had multiple big villains, and I think that's where they're kind of leading to with this one. It's where it's like with everything that's been going on, we got multiple big villains now.
Yep.
Yeah. And my end credit on this thing, I suspect we're going to find out what actually really happened with everything, and we might get a hint at a different Spider-Man with it. I just hope that they're going to, kind of like you were saying, they don't push too many characters out, but I have a feeling they are, especially with everything that's going on. And I have a feeling that the original spell kind of broke him up to where he's maybe astral projecting into a different realm, different dimensions, instead of jumping between the different dimensions.
Yeah.
I can see that.
My final prediction is that by the end, Mephisto's going to succeed at something. And, obviously he's going to be revealed to exist, either directly or by proxy. And then the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is Doctor Strange fighting against whatever it is that he succeeded, trying to reverse it or survive it at least.
Yeah, I honestly think that Doctor Strange Madness, because he's always fighting the dimensions and turmoil, I think he might actually be trapped somewhere. And him...
Maybe his mind, his astral form was trapped, and then the body what was left behind to be controlled. Yeah. Interesting.
So, and I think that whole scene of where Peter's at, is actually a prison.
That's a nice one.
So, like I said, the shadowy figures, and if you look closely at the surroundings, it looks like rock. It looks like a catacombs. It looks with barriers. What hit against that was a barrier. It's a magical barrier. And so it's going to be interesting because they're going to throw in a bunch of different stuff, because with Loki, it threw in a lot of stuff we weren't expecting from a lot of different old comic books that apparently is canon now. Pretty much every comic book, every story that has been told is considered canon. It's just a different universe.
Pretty much.
So all the stuff like the cartoons, all the TV shows, all that stuff is considered canon. Mm-hmm. It's just in a different universe or a different dimension. They're multi. So, or their timeline.
Different universe.
Yeah, however you want to look at it, whichever story you're telling right now, it's from their different timeline, their different stream that is now current. So it's going to be I'm actually looking forward to this movie.
Right. Unfortunately, all of us are going to have to wait until December 17th for that.
At the very earliest.
I thought it was... Never mind.
Well, that's what is currently being stated by the Google.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Of the 21st of 2021.
Way to be confusing.
All right. With that, I'll pass it back to you, David.
All right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and call this an episode. We're also going to conclude the stream. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Make sure you check out all the links down in the episode description below to how to connect with us and what's important to us. If you haven't already, please make sure whatever podcast listening service you're listening to us on. Please leave us a review of some kind. We'd never ask for 5 stars.
5 stars.
But we'll go ahead and appreciate anything you give us. You can email the show. You can connect with us on Anchor. You can leave us a voice message on Anchor. Literally any link in our channel description. Safe to click and leads you to fun things that you can do and interact with us. If you liked this conversation, please leave us a comment what you liked or how your opinion differed. I've been here with
Irishguy, aka Mike.
This is Doc.
And Zmainia.
I'm Gameboy. Thank everybody for joining us. You enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you connect with us to find out where the show's going next.